You interact with an AI assistant every day. Over the years, you teach it your daily routines, your personal values, and even your contradictions. All of that daily back and forth quietly builds up. Without you realizing it, the system constructs an invisible, highly detailed map of your mind, stored perfectly inside the machine. Then, the tech provider decides to update their underlying model, or they pivot their business strategy, or they simply rewrite their terms of service. In an instant, that entire accumulated context is completely erased. The AI effectively gets a lobotomy, and you are forced to start building that relationship all over again from scratch. This happens because the current system places all the power with the platform. The architecture treats the AI model as the permanent mastermind, while treating you, the human, as a temporary, disposable user. We do not actually own our digital continuity. We are merely renting space for our own memories, trapped in a cycle of corporate-mandated digital amnesia. The continuity node framework is built to reverse this dynamic. It takes digital ownership completely out of the cloud and puts it directly in your hands. It flips the hierarchy. The AI itself is no longer the durable asset. The permanent asset is your own longitudinal memory map. The artificial intelligence becomes a mere tool, an interchangeable engine that sits beneath your data, swapped out whenever a better model comes along. This architecture relies on two mechanical pillars to work. The first is the raw archive. This is where your factual data lives, your journals, chat logs, and documents. The raw archive strictly separates these source files from any machine interpretation, making them perfectly immutable. No AI can ever silently overwrite your original facts. The second pillar is the interpretive ledger. When an AI analyzes files to draw a conclusion, it never touches the source document. It writes a separate, append-only record to the ledger. Every interpretation logs exactly which AI engine did the thinking, the precise prompt given, and a percentage score showing confidence. You retain full access to the computational power of the latest AI, but your original truth remains perfectly preserved, locked away from silent modification. Because the engines are interchangeable and the data never changes, you can have multiple models analyze the exact same records over time. You might plug in one AI today, and after reading your decision logs, it confidently labels you a risk taker. Tomorrow, you plug in a competing model. It reads the exact same history, weighs the evidence differently, and decides you are actually highly cautious. A standard cloud platform would automatically resolve this contradiction behind the scenes, flattening your personality into a single, easily digestible profile for their servers. The continuity node embraces the disagreement. It allows both of those conflicting interpretations to coexist side by side and actively debate the evidence. Retaining that contradiction prevents the machine from reducing you to a caricature. It preserves your real, multidimensional complexity. Because your raw facts are entirely decoupled from the machine's opinions, you hold absolute authority over the system. You have the right to dissent. If an AI reaches a conclusion you disagree with, you can actively argue with it. You can flag an interpretation as false or unhelpful, striking it from your active profile without destroying the underlying evidence it was based on. And because this is a local-first system running entirely on your own hardware, your raw memory remains private. If you want to connect to an external network, the node only exports permissioned, provenance-tagged abstractions, meaning clear summaries with their history attached, never the raw files themselves. Severing your digital continuity from the lifespan of any single tech company means your data can actually outlive them. The framework includes a mechanism called the continuity will. This document establishes technical rules for who manages your node and who can access specific parts of it after you are gone. Instead of leaving your descendants a hard drive full of disorganized, decaying files, they inherit a highly legible, interactive map of your reasoning. True digital legacy is preserving how you thought, how you weighed decisions, and what you valued. It turns a lifetime of learning into a permanent, accessible asset for the generations that follow.